Hello everyone.
Hi,
Welcome to
hi everyone.
welcome to our second newsletter.
Welcome. Yes. So we actually tried to do this yesterday. We were actually traveling yesterday, and we tried to do it on the road because we couldn't really find time to do this, and it didn't go as well as we thought it would. So we're redoing it.
This is our second trial and it's not very easy, I'm telling you.
Yeah, this stuff is a lot harder to do than
We
than
thought
we thought. So and then Hazan was just telling me this morning, you just continue to overcomplicate our lives.
it's true. But I think the point is we love it, right?
Well, I love it. I
Yeah.
mean, this is why I think the more we can share, because like our life and our business and our everything is sort of intertwined, and so the more we can share about what we're doing, I think it's a way for us to um,
Giving back, I believe, right? We try to make more like-minded people around
yeah.
us so that we can get inspired.
Yeah, and also with the lead journey, right? It's kind of like it's an example of what we're doing, and we're trying to teach people. We're trying to show up as a little bit of a kind of a coach, right? And so we need others to learn from our journey. So we're trying to not that we know everything, but we're trying to have others to support others with their own journeys. So this is why sharing as much as possible is important, I think.
Yeah. And it's not only about the good things, it's about also mistakes and the bad experiences.
Exactly.
It's
Yeah.
it's part of the
and
journey, part of life.
and by no means are we saying like we're perfect at this, right?
No.
So like we have made a lot of mistakes, and like we'll get into it, but it's a journey, right? So it's never about just one thing.
Yeah. But let's get it started.
Yes.
So what we have been up to last 1 month, it has been a lot actually on our
Yeah.
end. We have been traveling all around the world. So Uday, you were in Canada.
Yes.
So tell us about it.
Yeah, so I think we did a lot of travel in the last like 6 weeks. Like we didn't. I didn't personally travel. I stayed in Turkey pretty much from November to
True.
early March, right?
Correct.
So I was getting a bit lazy at home, and but anyway, travel started. So I went to Canada. So a couple of things really wanted to be focused on in Canada was the setup of our business. So we've been talking about Canada, setting up Canada, because I'm no stranger to Canada. I'm a Canadian citizen. I was born in Sri Lanka, but more than half my life I spent in Canada. All my career, pretty much, I spent first part of my career in Canada. So we wanted to open up a, a business subsidiary of HSB Solutions, and we opened that in Saskatchewan. There's a couple of reasons for it. Why Saskatchewan? So Saskatchewan is a province right in the middle of Canada, and because for those of you who don't know, Hazan and I have a son who is living in. He's 9 years old and he lives in Regina, Saskatchewan. And so every time we go visit him, we've been doing that with. Every time we go, we stay in hotels, and especially during the winters, because Canadian winters are quite harsh. It's very difficult to stay indoors in a hotel cooked up. So we decided to actually make a home base in Canada. So we bought a place late 2025, and we had some renovations done, and so it was all coming to an end, and I wanted to accept it. So that was one of the activities I wanted to do, and also set up the business at the same time. So now we have 3 home bases.
3 home bases, 3 to 4 businesses.
3 home bases. So Turkey, Germany, and then Canada, and then we already talked about the Japan business. Yes. That we established early in the year. So we have Canada, Japan, and Germany
and Turkey.
which was the first stop along the way. So while I was in Canada, I was able to also participate as kind of like the launch of our business. I was able to participate in there was a Saskatoon Aerospace and Defense forums, which was, I would say, is kind of the official first event of HSB Canada. And for those of you who don't know, Canada, has historically relied a lot on the U.S. For its economy. I mean, it's our biggest economic partner, and with everything that's going on, in the current days, we realize, or Canada has realized, that we cannot be too dependent on one trading partner. And so the new Prime Minister Mark Carney has been kind of looking at ways to expand the Canadian economy with other partners, Europe in particular, and other Asian partners, Australia and others. So he's been doing quite a bit of travel and promoting Canada out there. And also, from a defense perspective, Canada has also released its own very new, actually for the first time, a defense industrial strategy, with backing it up with a $6.6 billion of spend. I think it's a record for Canada. In terms of spend for industrial defense perspective. So we heard from, during that event, I heard from the government officials who wrote the strategy. Quite interestingly, though, I was able to listen to two Canadian Forces commanders. One was the general commander for the RCF, Royal Canadian Air Force, for NORAD, Northern Defense, and then also an Army colonel that was commanding some 10,000 soldiers in Western Canada. They basically said there's $100 billion in new military equipment coming in between now and 2029. Wow. And so what does that mean, right? So that's like so many fleets being recapitalized. And, when you're accepting new equipment, new aircraft, new, whatever equipment, you need to train, right? You need to train the Army, the users, the end users on all of that. And there's also going to be some modifications and things like that. So there's that I think is going to be quite a massive effort. Mm-hmm. And it's an opportunity, I think. And so for us, I think we see, I think the timing of us going there is good timing. We're also hearing from other Canadian prospective customers that some of the capabilities that HSB has, especially in like flight physics and things that are required when you're developing new aircraft or modifying the aircraft, especially changing the external shape of an aircraft. These kind of skill sets are
rare to find.
Rare to find in Canada. Used to be there in Canada, but there hasn't been a proper strategy of like continuing that. So I think it's slowly eroding that capability. So it's a good timing for us, and we need to think about how we can calibrate this and develop that capability in Canada and
we can integrate
that capability
into that industry. But I'd like to add a point here. So this is happening for Canada, but this is also happening everywhere in the world, right?
Yes.
This globalization is over now. Localization is happening in Europe, in Germany, in Japan, in Turkey, as always. So people are turning back to their own environment and trying to create new things, research, development, defense, whatever they need in-house.
Yeah.
This is why I think we can also maybe conclude that our strategy of being close to customers, being in different continents, is also a good strategy at this point to be fed by those localization strategy.
Absolutely. I think it's arising from this tariff situation and a lot more nationalization and localization. So the globalization supply chains are being sort of brought back home. People want to stay close to and try to control, and I think it's a lesson being learned from even the pandemic, right? So during the pandemic, we saw how vulnerable the global economic supply chains are, and so this is kind of a reverse globalization effect, right?
Correct.
So having our strategy has been stay close to the time zone of the customers.
Yes,
right?
definitely.
So it's a time zone strategy, and so North America we have
Yeah, and being close always gives you the perspective of what are the real challenges
Yeah.
they are facing.
Yeah.
You are just more into their day-to-day life
Yeah.
to support them.
Yeah, even though we have like we are always supporting, like you know, if any customer, like I mean, most of the time at the beginning of our, we would wake up like really early and have calls at like 4 or 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
To
We still do.
we
Yeah.
still do, and you know, Asia Pacific region, right? So that would be the daytime in Japan, for example, and then we would work late into the evenings because it was North America. So like we would have, you know, sometimes we would have like a 15, 16-hour work day because you start so early, and then not that, you know, so it's kind of it's how we've always operated.
Correct.
And,
Correct.
but still, being in the zone is super
Very helpful.
Yeah.
Maybe I can also come from there. So I have been in Bristol, right, supporting one of our customers, Vertical Aerospace. Maybe for those who don't know me, I have two main hats. One is the CEO of HSP. One is the as a CVE. I still work as a technical systems engineer. My expertise is coming from the aerospace aircraft development at aircraft level, ARP 4754. Then it goes down to the item level 178 and DO 254. So I'm supporting multiple customers on their compliance activities, reviewing them, their items, or generating their compliance demonstrations items with them. So I was in Vertical, and it was very nice to be there again, because when you are there, you see the dynamics, you see their urgencies, and you see their problems, what they are trying to attack. And as an outside viewer also, it's very easy for you to identify the maybe the improvement points, or also to support areas. So it was a very productive week, and Vertical is moving to their transition, like almost done. This is also very exciting, and we are very proud to support them. As always, we said, like, our customers' success is our success.
Yeah. We're super impressed by Vertical, and I don't think we're sharing anything that's not already publicly stated.
Definitely.
Vertical, we find to be is one of the most efficient spenders of their engineering time and efficiency, and to what extent that what they've achieved against the amount of spend. So you know, it's a great opportunity to. We think that it's could be one of the most successful eVTOL companies out there. We're supporting others as well.
Yeah.
Everyone that we're supporting, we feel like they are going to be.
We believe in those products.
Yeah, because
like, whatever,
at the end of the day, you know, we as a company, we want our customers to be successful. I mean, that's the most important thing, and so we are fully committed to making our customers successful.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to you. So, like, maybe just a quick question, and you know, you're doing a lot as leading the company, and then you're doing a lot of technical work.
Yes.
Right. And I know for a fact for me, like you work, you know, quite a lot. But how do you balance both? How do you manage those? And because they're kind of right, so one requires kind of zooming out,
and the other one requires zooming in.
Yeah. So how do you do that?
Yeah, I think like it will be very cliche, but you need to love what you are doing, right? And you need to also feel that, okay, I need to do this anyway. So for me, to be honest, it's not that difficult to switch in between two different mindsets. So I really enjoy what I'm doing on the HSP side, and I really enjoy what I'm doing on the development assurance side.
Yeah.
This gives me, I guess, the strength of moving forward.
Yeah. No, I think not. It's difficult, right? Because I think we hear a lot about focus, and we hear that nowadays, you know, like if you're gonna do something, just work on one thing
Yeah,
and
true.
then shift.
Yeah.
So I think, but you're doing that. I mean, you set focus time slots
Oh,
for,
definitely.
and
Yeah,
you're not always switching back and
no.
forth.
I'm not
So
saying that it's easy and then and every minute I'm switching, right?
yeah,
I block myself for the deep technical hours and I block myself for the leading activities.
yeah,
So I think it also comes with experience, right? At the beginning it was not that easy.
yeah,
Now it's more flowing and manageable for me.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Great. And next week we're off to
Japan.
Japan. But before maybe talk about Japan, I think like with the International Women's Day,
Yeah.
there were some things that you were doing, and you may even have something to share. Maybe not fully
Yeah.
developed at this stage, but yeah, tell us a little bit about what you've been doing.
Yeah. So I was privileged to be invited by the president of Turkey to an iftar, like Ramadan breaking fast, a dinner, and it was also the subject was also around women entrepreneurship and Women's Day. So it was a very nice and inspiring event because I was surrounded by women who are creating, who are developing, who are also creating some opportunities for the surroundings of them, providing value to the society. It was a very nice event. And I was also very lucky to be invited with a couple of universities to share my story with women engineers for Women's Day. It was all privilege for me. While all this happening, as you know, I also launched Next Altitude within
We don't know.
HSP.
You're telling us for the first time.
I am just saying it. Okay. So Next Altitude is a program to aim to support women engineering students, women engineers who are early in their careers. You don't have to be an aerospace engineer. You don't have to be an electronics engineer.
So any engineers.
Any engineers.
Yeah.
This is like, I was inspired by this because when I was growing up, let's say, I didn't know. I didn't have anyone in front of me even deciding which university, which department I'm gonna study. I had no idea. I just follow, okay, whatever is the best on the ranking, without my passion, without knowing it.
Yeah.
I just pursue to get a job, right?
I think that's the difference between like the Western world and like even when I was deciding to do engineering, it was like, okay, we have a doctor in the family, we have a someone who's doing commerce business in the family, so yeah, what's left, so it's like
engineer.
Like the typical Asian family is like lawyer, doctor, engineer, whatever. So but in Canada and Western world, there's it's often in high schools you have a counselor who can advise on based on your aptitudes, based on your results, based on what you're good at. They kind of recommend, okay, which area to focus, which areas to go. So obviously,
I'm sure in Turkey we had that too, but in my environment, let's say, I didn't have access to those privileges. So I kind of just follow whatever is need to be done, and I did it just to get a job because the aim was to get a job and make money, right? So I am trying to break that right now. If I can, I don't know, even like a 0.1% support only one girl and create some awareness for her and create some opportunity in between their goals and also where they want to be without any other thing.
But I think what you're saying is also like we've seen it, right? So a lot of students and young engineers come to you, talk to you about okay, what should I do, but you didn't have that. So I didn't have that. And you always say to me like, I wish I had this. Like I wish I could have been one of those students on the receiving end of this.
Yes.
So this is one of the reasons you're doing this.
This is one of the reasons. And of course, I know that this is not a one-person effort, right? Yeah. I'm trying to also connect with individuals, especially in Turkey, who achieved something, who are trying more, who are also willing to give back. I'm trying to connect with those women and create this Next Altitude project and give back to the society. I think more will be coming up for the next episodes.
And then there's the power of many, right? So there's a lot of successful women entrepreneurs in Turkey, not just entrepreneurs, but also women engineers. In fact, one of the things we have often been talking about is like in terms of like when I was going to university in even in Canada, the percentage of women in the engineering classes was so low. Like I'm talking less than 10%, right? But if you look at Turkey right now, Turkey has a very large representation of women in the workforce in engineering. I think this is kind of a unique thing in Turkey. So there is something really, really great going on one side. And then I see also the kind of a contrast on the other side of it is women in leadership positions in Turkey are, there's a
imbalance, right?
A much bigger imbalance
between the engineer numbers versus the leaders.
Yeah. So again, a bit of a sidetrack, but the point is, I think these are all things that these type of initiatives can help to improve, promote.
Maybe you know what? It's a very good point at this stage to switch to maybe connect this topic to the professional coaching, right?
Yeah.
Because I believe like one of the reasons that women in the engineering workforce is not coming to the leadership position is lack of coaching as well. So
I mean, the coaching is a big part of it, right? Can help quite a lot.
Can help, definitely.
So when I look back, so I only had a coach the very first time that I started leading an organization, right? So that was, I mean, okay, but as an engineer, I had, you kind of like rely on your manager, right?
Yes.
A lot of the times, you think that the manager
leader, let's say, right? But they like if they are manager, they will not coach you. But if they are leader, they're gonna guide your career.
But my point wasn't about that. But it wasn't about the leader manager thing. It was more about the fact that, like, as engineers, we look up to our supervisor, whoever is our boss, to guide us to what's next. What we should be doing. And so often we wait 1 year for our performance evaluation for them to tell us the things we did well and things we didn't do well, and then what's next for us. But instead, I think a coach takes a different perspective, right? Because the coaches are more like, okay, this, kind of, again, like guiding you around what your strengths are, what you really want to achieve in life as well, right? Because it's merging of multiple things to guide you around. Because careers, is a big part of life.
Yeah.
So it's not just about what the business wants, because when you rely on your boss to determine where you're going to go, it's really based on a lot based on what your company wants you to do, right? So
yes, and on top of that, like it's very interesting, but like psychotherapy, right? So psychotherapy, we always think that, especially in Turkey, it was kind of a taboo to have a therapist, and like but right now it's quite in common everywhere. Like I hear from all of my friends that when I talk to my therapist, he said this, she said that, blah blah. So I think it's a good way for people to release their thoughts and just get a second opinion and to discuss without concerning about any negativity.
Yeah, there's no like it's
judgment, right? There's no judgment. I think it's important.
I think it's a safe environment, right?
It's a safe environment, and I believe like this coaching is kind of I know it will sound a bit weird, but like therapy for the professional environment,
Well, that's exactly what we're doing with Leap Global.
Yes.
So Leap Global is this other initiative that we have. So it's really to help other entrepreneurs. So we, when we launched HSB Solutions, and we went and made a lot of mistakes. We talked about that at the beginning.
Yes.
So we're trying to sort of guide these entrepreneurs that are part of Leap Global, that essentially to fast track what the mistakes that we made,
Yes.
not to repeat them again. But not just that, but it's the support of a community, the ecosystem, and which becomes a little bit of therapy, because when we all come together, we have calls, and when we come together, it's about people are talking about issues, and it's not sometimes it's not sometimes not just business issues. It's the things that
it's a safe environment to
Yeah.
share the experiences without any judgment.
yeah
I think this is very important, and this is what all of us need actually in a professional environment, to discuss what we have been going through, what are our challenges, and what we are trying to achieve, and what is the path to that. Because somebody else already experienced the same thing, and somebody else already faced the same problems,
true.
and they already have the solution.
And most of the time, why engineers don't take action?
Yes,
because we are doubting ourselves. So that doubt can be removed if you had just a little bit of validation from an external outside perspective.
Definitely.
And it's not looking for an answer necessarily.
No.
It's just to confirm your own belief, right?
Yeah.
So we think coaching is important, and so we're bringing it to entrepreneurs, and that's what Leap Global and the Leap ecosystem is all about. But we highly recommend, if you're an engineer out there, get yourself a coach, right? And this person, obviously needs to have some life experience behind them. Someone who's at least a couple steps ahead of you. I mean, I'm not talking like, does that person have to have gray hair or no hair, but at least a little bit ahead of you, that they can, you can respect the advice that they give you, right? Or the opinions they share. So really important, and you should get one.
It's very, very, very true. So coaching is one part, and how about like being more visible on LinkedIn?
Yeah. So another point.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think visibility, like the world is changing, right?
The world is changing, and I believe we don't have enough tools to express ourselves right now, or we have too many tools that we cannot focus.
Yeah. And as engineers, I mean, engineering world is going to change, because some of the things that we took for granted as engineers, day-to-day job functions, are going to be replaced by automation.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. And so how do we differentiate ourselves in the future? I'm talking 5 years, 10 years, 20 years from now, What is the work that engineers are going to be doing? So you could easily become obsolete, I think.
Yes, definitely.
Right? I know it's not me trying to, like, this is not fear mongering and blah, blah, blah.
No, but it's factual based on the data we have right now out there. And yeah, so on LinkedIn, creating some network for yourself to learn from them, and also being more visible
and to
engaging
share
more.
Share what you're doing, right? Share the thing that you do best out there and with others, and as a result become, attract others to you. Like, people tell me, LinkedIn is so crowded right now, and there's a lot of people on it. A lot of people are doing a bunch of different things, and yes, it is. But 5 years, but what is the solution? You cannot go back 5 years and start now, right? There are people who started 5 years ago have a much more recognition out there because they started at that time.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be the same 5 years from now? So, you might as well start, right? We don't know where LinkedIn is going to go. I mean, yes, they're platform dependent, and if something happens, but do you really think LinkedIn is going to go away? It's going to maybe evolve in something.
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't matter, right? Like, because you will be transitioning with everyone else.
And you're not trying to become a celebrity, right?
Exactly.
This is not the goal here. You're not supposed to. You're not trying to create 100,000 a million followers. You're trying to have, even if you have 1,000 or even 100 people that really
You
likes
engage.
your message.
Maybe, it's very interesting. So I will say this. Maybe I'm more engineer than you, right? Like
Definitely.
in my mind, like I'm more like straightforward thinking, not very open, let's say. So at the very beginning, it still is actually very difficult for me to be out there on LinkedIn all the time. Even this, right? Like it's not easy, we know, but it is mandatory. Because when you are there, you also interact with the same-minded people. You learn from them. They
Yeah.
also learn from you. It is such a great feeling that you are in the circle of the same people that you achieve together. It's a feeling.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it's not just about that engineering part of it. Like me as an example, I for after I had the business in Australia that failed, the MRJ program that ended, and other personal stuff that I was going through at the time. I was going through a complete change of life, and I did not want to be out there. I wanted to hide, right? And so I was not on LinkedIn. I disappeared for a few years.
True.
It took a long time for me to get back, and
Yeah.
so like what we're saying about being visible, like we've been there. We know it's not easy, but you know what? Get started in some small way.
Just
And
comment on the post that
Yeah.
you like or even send a message, like
yes,
it's
independently to like
it's
a direct
not
message.
being visible.
Yeah.
It's about sharing the same idea.
But it's habit building, right? So you start little by little reaching out, which ends up you become much more comfortable with it. And the other thing is you can always join us, right? And
Yeah.
as an engineer you can join, and
Yeah.
we'll support you, right? We'll give you the maybe your story that you want to say, or the thing you want to say. You just need someone to read it and give you a little bit of validation. That is something we can do.
I
We're
want
happy
to
to.
add something here. Like you wouldn't believe, but there are some engineers who has maybe 20-25 years experience, very successful, but they are still struggling on this stuff, and they are coming and requesting support from our
Yeah.
end.
Yeah.
And this is such a nice feeling to push someone,
Yeah.
because they already have all the tools. They just need to show.
And we have many people now that in our circle, in our community, that we've had the privilege to help, and as a result they're out there, they're communicating, they're becoming more visible, and that makes us feel really amazing.
It is. It's
So
a very
if
good
it's
feeling.
something that we can do, yeah, you can sit there and be negative and and say like, oh wow,
Judge people.
judge people, or you can be the one out there trying it and being judged. Doesn't matter. But
Yeah.
you know what? The thing that I always know is like, if you are worried about other people judging you, don't, because nobody really has time to care about you. They just care about
Yes.
themselves.
Yes.
So that's kind of a good way to overcome that, the feeling of judgment.
Definitely.
Then I think we should be starting to close this thing.
I'd like to talk about culture.
Yeah.
For a very little, if you
Okay.
don't mind.
Okay.
Because we always talk about culture. What is culture? So those are not the handbook written bullet point items, literally. So I'd like to share my 2 experiences from last 2 weeks, and those just made me, okay, this is the definition of culture. So I was working with an individual in one of our customers, an engineer, and he was traveling, and the company let him travel from different country. So,
For vacation,
for
He was
vacation.
traveling for his own
was
personal vacation.
Yes, he was traveling for his personal vacation. But I think first couple days he was supposed to work. Then next 2 weeks he was literally on vacation. So the first couple days, we were having meetings, and we were planning for the next activities. You know what that individual told me? He said, okay, let's plan also catch-up points for every second day. I said, but you're on vacation, like just enjoy. And he said, no, the company is giving me the flexibility to work from my vacation area, different country, so I can be also flexible to support the company from my own time on vacation, because it's only 30 minutes, right? This is the mindset. It's not only like take, it's also give it back. It's not a transactional thing.
It's not, and it's a really a balance of give and take, and you know, like you have to, culture is work, right? Culture is, I think, just like a marriage. It's a lot of work in a company, and it needs to be worked on, it needs to be nurtured, and you have to constantly give. You need to contribute. Each person in that organization or unit needs to contribute to that culture, not just to consume it, right? So if you're contributing, then you can enjoy the flexibilities, you can enjoy what comes from that culture.
Definitely. Right? And I'd like to also talk about my second example, because those are not like the definition of culture is this experience, actually, you know, not the words that we always say. So I was giving a raise to one of our engineers, like I request to a one-to-one. And I, like, we were just chatting, and I said, like, you know what, like, you have been doing very good, and here's this like small amount of raise for you. And you know what he said? He said, you know what, like, you made my day, but it's not about the raise you gave to me. It's knowing that you always think about and recognizing what's happening. It doesn't matter if you just double my salary at this point or just give me 1%, that I know you guys always think about me and you do the best, but in your own knowledge, right? It doesn't mean that it's the best in the world.
So I mean, I think, you know, we are grateful that we have
such
an nice incredible team that is, you know, and we built a great culture, and that culture is first and foremost around flexibility, and that flexibility not just for our team but also for our customers, right? Because that's this is one of the key points of our organization. We wanted to build a company that is you know, focused on solving deep, complex problems, but partnering with our customers for their success, and you know, seeing it through tough times, good times, and you know, so some of our customers are, you know, we are so committed to seeing them succeed in the long run. So for that, you know, we are always willing to be flexible and look at alternatives, creative ways to help. And that's what makes, I think, HSB unique. And yeah, we're excited. And the, you know, maybe just finish off with the fact that next week is our 4th year anniversary of founding HSB. I think HSB was registered officially in Ankara on
5th of April.
And so it'll be 4 years. Can't believe how fast time has gone.
I can't believe. And also it feels like 40 years. You know?
Yeah, it feels like yesterday, but it also feels like a long time. And then, you know, thinking about, still we are a fairly small team, and yet we have this sort of global exposure. It's sometimes we don't stop and kind of think back and see, like, it's there's been some great achievements. I mean,
and we are very grateful for our team
and our customers.
Like, we are so happy and grateful and proud.
Yeah, we try to be always different, and when everyone swims downstream, we swim upstream, and that's been kind of our story. And so being different is good. That's my message to every engineer that I meet. Also, is find a way to be different, because different gets seen more, and getting exposure more is always a good thing, in my opinion.
Yeah, very good.
So with that, we're off to Japan in a couple of days, and so we'll talk about that in the next edition. Japan is where it all started, and we're
It's
grateful.
the second home for us,
Second,
always.
yeah, always second home, and so we're so grateful to have the opportunity to go back and see. And then we have Ashiki-san, who is our managing director in Japan, who will be essentially escorting us around this time. This is a very unique experience for us. We're excited. And then also we'll be visiting some prospective customers out there. And it's also Hamami time, right?
Oh, it's Hamami time. Hamami is like when sakuras are on, like those blossoms, and people are having picnics under those sakuras. This is such an amazing culture. They just share everything, they experience, they enjoy.
I want to see the sakura. I want to see the cherry blossoms.
Yeah.
So until next time.
Yeah. And in the meantime, don't forget to follow us on YouTube.
Yes.
And Instagram. Udaya just created our own Instagram channel. Please go there and follow us.
So hit subscribe, please. It'll be really great for us because we're trying to do something new, and we're trying to grow our YouTube channel and our Instagram. Because it's not just, we're not just about the business itself. We want to build a community ourselves. So look forward to connecting with you.
See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.